Good afternoon from ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Luke Tanaka with you. Glad to have you alongside. It's the first home women's soccer game of the season here at St. Francis, and it's sure to be a good one. First game of the season for the visiting Harris-Stowe State University Hornets, and second game of the year for the St. Francis Fighting Saints, who come in with a record of 0-1 after falling in their first game of the season on the road. That was at Clark University last Saturday. The Saints actually not playing any weekday games the first 2 weeks of the year, kind of easing their way into the schedule. And so this is just the second game of the year, despite being a couple weeks into the season. St. Francis in the home brown uniforms today, and lighter yellow the way of the Hornets, which actually we have the rare occurrence of a pair of brown and gold / brown and yellow uniforms, the clash of the brown and gold, if you will. Today, you don't see that very often. It's always fun to see a fellow brown and gold or brown and yellow school, so the Saints and the Hornets battling today. We'll get you the starting lineups here in just a bit. Right now, some action in the Harris-Stowe offensive third, and the Hornets will have a throw-in coming up. That ball flicked on nicely to the middle, but Kiki Estrada, center defender, is there to head it away for the Saints. And now eventually cleared. I think that was Olivia Hollander. And Alejandra Alonso does well to bring that down right by her feet. Alonso up the far sideline, has De La Rosa in the middle, but hits the pass well behind her. De La Rosa able to collect anyway. Another good-looking ball that time, De La Rosa to Alonso right back. And then Harris-Stowe State ends up stopping the ball instead of letting the goalkeeper get that one. One of the defenders held the ball off from where the goalkeeper was. That potentially could have been a goal kick for Harris-Stowe. Instead, it ends up about as well as it could have with a throw-in for the Hornets on the far side. Starting lineups for today's game. We'll start off with the Harris-Stowe State Hornets, the visiting squad today. Meanwhile, Casey Harris, and then a chip up by Haley Wenberg towards De La Rosa, forward for the Saints. That one's going to roll all the way over the end line, and we'll get a goal kick coming up. In goal, about to take this kick, Camelia Chavez, the sophomore out of Columbia. In the midfield, number 3, Georgia Harrington. Wearing number 27 today, Cayetana Vierna. Normally wears number 4, but had a couple of jersey flip-flops for the game today. Number 7, Tori Helms. Number 8, Johanna Wallstab, both midfielders, along with Juliana Noyola, also starting for Harris-Stowe State today. Wearing number 6, Sara Hernandez. In the midfield, number 11, Jacqueline Fajardo, playing defender, along with number 14, Caitlin Johnson. Number 16, Lila Rudloff. And number 20, Deja Lundberg round out the starting lineup for the Hornets today as this ball goes all the way over the end line for a goal kick. And we've seen that the wind can certainly play a factor here at ATI Field, and I think that will indeed be the case today. It is a bit breezy and is very warm and humid today. So we will have our mandatory water breaks about halfway through the first half, halfway through the second half, just to make you aware of that. And be prepared for all things coming up in this game between Harris-Stowe State and St. Francis. Get the Harris-Stowe State starter, or excuse me, the St. Francis starters. We just gave you Harris-Stowe State coming at you here in just a moment. Right now, the wind is blowing, say, with medium gusto from right to left. Certainly has blown much harder here at ATI Field, but that means that St. Francis is playing with the wind here in this half, which is certainly beneficial to the offense, and certainly the wind right there is going to help St. Francis win a corner kick. It's going to be Casey Harris, number 43, the one to take it. She took many of the free kicks last year as well for the Saints. And so this time from the corner spot on the near side, Harris, senior midfielder from Roselle, Illinois, Lake Park High School. Here comes the ball, and the Saints swing into the box. Dangerous ball all the way across the face of goal, and then popped up into the air by one of the Saints on the far side. I think that was Madison Hanyon coming up from her defender spot. She takes the shot, but it's well wide. It goes over the bar. It'll be a goal kick for Harris-Stowe State. First shot of the day for either team. And Olivia De La Rosa quickly collects this goal kick. De La Rosa takes a shot to the right side, and it's end up being blocked by the goalkeeper, and she will collect. But you can tell it's going to be a mighty task for either team to just get the ball out of the defensive zone when you're playing against the wind. Takes a lot more technicality, a lot of finite passes, whereas with you're going with the wind, you can just take one long pass up the field and the ball's already in your offensive half. Spilling to the ground, one Harris-Stowe State player, and that gives the ball back to St. Francis. This pass, almost controlled by Wenberg. Instead, Harris pops it up into the air to herself. And here is Harris on the near side. I think she maybe thought De La Rosa was going to cut back in towards the middle, or perhaps a run from Alonso. Neither happened. St. Francis does have possession at this moment. Hollander has it taken away. This is Lundberg. Deja, nice cut. Then has the ball taken away by Martina Katurba. So let's get to that starting lineup for St. Francis. In goal, starting the second game of the year, also started game one, Ellie Provo, the sophomore out of Dixon, Illinois, who saw some time last year, but mainly had to sit behind a couple of senior keepers. John Niksovich certainly very impressed with Provo overall, and think that Provo could be a starter for years to come. We will see, obviously, as the season progresses, but Provo certainly a talented keeper. Alonso to the near side. Has Katurba in the middle and finds her. Katurba, trying for the give and go because both defenders went right to Katurba. And Alonso was wide open, ready for a shot from a little bit of a tough angle, but would have been a great opportunity for the Saints. Instead, picked up by Harris-Stowe State, and in yellow, they'll go the other way. Let's see if we can get some of the formation out for St. Francis. A little easier to figure that out when you know it, familiar with some of the names and numbers. We'll get that for Harris-Stowe State as the broadcast continues. Down goes Katurba, no foul call, clean play. And Harris-Stowe State with possession. So it looks like on the back line for the Saints, Kiki Estrada was just challenging Lundberg on the near side. Also got Wenberg, and then there's Brittany Cook charging back towards Provo, who will easily gobble this one up in her red goalkeeper jersey. So along the back line, it looks like Wenberg on the left side, Estrada and Cook, Kiki Estrada number 19, and then you got to make sure you differentiate which Estrada. Now there's a third Estrada in the program. There was one last year, Brenda Estrada, who graduated as a senior, ran out of eligibility, but the Saints gained another Estrada, Yadira Estrada, who was a backup goalkeeper for the Saints as a freshman. This one controlled by Lundberg, does well, and then Estrada with a good tackle, and clean, says the middle official. We'll get you the officials in a second as well. So it looks like number 12, Wenberg, number 19, Estrada, number 6, Cook, and then number 14, McDermott, Grace McDermott on the right side for the Saints on the back line. Here's Harris. A long run from her midfielder position, looking for Alonso, and that is the one thing that you have to remember when you're playing with the wind, especially on this turf field. The ball just goes when you release that pass, and the wind only helps it continue to roll. Other midfielders besides 43 Harris, number 7 Madison Hanyon, and number 3 Olivia Hollander, playing more of a holding midfielder, I believe, type role. We'll see as the game continues. This is our first look at the Saints as well this year. Martina Katurba up front, more of a setting up or attacking midfielder, and then two forwards, De La Rosa, look like on the right side, and then Alejandra Alonso on the left side. It's the starting 11 for USF today. Throw in for McDermott on the far side. Junior from Iowa, Cedar Rapids. De La Rosa brings it down nicely with the left foot, trying to keep it in play, bouncing around, and another throw-in one by De La Rosa. Nice ball in for Katurba, who can't quite control it, and it rolls for a goal kick. Harris-Stowe State last year went 6-11, and Chavez, their goalkeeper, was in goal last year as well. Had a pretty solid goals against average, 1.88. Made 100 saves in 16 games, so she certainly faced a lot of shots on goal last year. Had one shutout. The team as a whole had 3. And both goalkeepers on the roster are back. Jenna Vettel is also on the roster. She played in 5 games last year, but Chavez started 16 out of the 17 for Harris-Stowe State. As I mentioned, Ellie Provo played behind a couple of senior keepers last year, so this is her first real starting job out of camp, if you will. She had I think she had one start last year and played in a couple of games for the Saints a year ago as a freshman. If just one game on the CCAC scoreboard today, Bethany, Kansas is being hosted by St. Xavier out in Chicago. Every once in a while, I'm going to check in on the Cougars, see how they're doing over in Chicago. Always want your CCAC teams to do well in the non-conference, and then you want to be able to beat them in the conference schedule to boost your conference rating a little bit. Nice play by Casey Harris, and now she has it. Dishes near side Alonso. A couple of defenders patrolling, and the ball given right back. You see coming up the middle of the field with an interception was Wallstab, sophomore out of Munich, Germany for Harris-Stowe State. And the ball cleared towards the far side official, and a throw-in coming. Our officials in the middle today, Miguel Chavez, and I'm going to pronounce David's name next because he's the hardest one. On the near side, we have Eli Sanchez, and then on the far side, David is the first name, and then I believe it's Avignone. David Avignone. Trying my best with that one. Saints in the brown uniforms today. They're new uniforms with the gold Saints across the chest and some nice big readable white numbers on the back. If you've ever had to take stats for a game, you'll appreciate that part of it. Good hustle by Wenberg on the near side. She goes down, and Estrada ends up with the ball for the Saints. Not a whole lot of action so far. A couple of shots for USF early in the contest. A lot of middle third action since then. Harris-Stowe State finding trouble against the wind, and that is something with a crosswind that we've seen regularly from teams, certainly not limited to just them. Last year it was a big factor here at ATI Field. Kind of like you go out to Wrigley Field, and the Cubs, first thing anybody does as a ball player when they go out to Wrigley Field is check which way is the wind blowing today. If it's blowing out, it's a good day to be a hitter. If it's blowing in, it's a good day to be a pitcher. And then you have to continuously double check. Harris looking to the far side, and it goes off of a Harris-Stowe defender, and it'll be Saints throw-in coming up. Another throw-in for the Saints far side, and we have our first sub of the day. Hannah Riker wants to check in. She'll replace Olivia Hollander. I think Riker's going to add a little bit more offense for USF. Transfer from Joliet Junior College, and along with Madison Hanyon, who started today, also a transfer from JJC. Just about 14 minutes into the contest. Still no score between Harris-Stowe and St. Francis. And the Saints playing with the wind here today. And it looks like a foul on Harris there, trying to win a throw-in. So it'll be a quick restart here for Harris-Stowe in the visiting yellow uniforms. I mentioned it's the brown and gold against the, brown and yellow. Hard to tell. And the yellow jerseys, I'm not sure exactly what Harris-Stowe's colors are, but just the fact that we had a couple of brown and yellowish teams is a very rare occurrence. Now, Wyoming goes brown and gold, but obviously Division I, hard to see them playing anybody out here unless it's Valparaiso, who also is brown and gold. Maybe more brown and yellow. Kiki Estrada sends it away, but headed right back in by a Harris-Stowe attacker. Seen Lundberg have a couple of decent looks at just trying to materialize something offensively for the Hornets. See if they get her involved. This is Noyola on the near side, and it's kicked away nicely by Wenberg, the defender for St. Francis. I believe this will be a throw-in coming up for Harris-Stowe State. Noyola taking her time, getting set here. And I don't blame her. It is very steamy out there today. think it's in the 90s with some humidity, and never easy when you're running multiple miles out on a soccer field. Kiki Estrada sends it back up into the air out of play. Throw in a little closer to the Saints bench. I suppose the ball shagger's taking a little extra time. That may actually be kind of nice for the teams out there just to get a little break from all the action. A chance for Harris-Stowe State perhaps, but Estrada sends it away, and then Harris continues it on all the way towards the scorer's table. Art Campos, head athletic trainer at St. Francis, with a nice play down on the near side. Kiki Estrada, nicely done. One of the leaders for the Saints last year as a junior, certainly will be again as a senior, along with Casey Harris, 43, who does nicely to get that ball away to Reichert. All sent well out of play, and Harris-Stowe State with a throw-in their defensive half. So last year the Saints went 8-9-2, reached the conference tournament as the number 8 seed, and then lost to Olivet Nazarene on the road in the CCAC tournament quarterfinals. A lot of players back for the Saints. Of course, they certainly will miss those two goalkeepers, Bethany Domkowski and Jessica Keeley, who left due to graduation, along with Carly Draheim as well, who was a key piece for the Saints offensively last year. Nice ball up for Alonso. Can she get there? Nice little job of defending. I think that was Harrington, who just cut right in front of Alonso enough to slow her down and give Chavez enough time to get the ball. Certainly the two main goalkeepers last year, Domkowski and Keeley, both gone. They combined for, see if I can do my math, 106 saves out of the 115 USF made last year. So, and Domkowski played in 14 games, started 13. Keeley played 7 games, started 5. Bouncing ball near side, and throw in coming for Haley Wenberg, who is essentially, in addition, she did not play last year, but is back to play again this year as a senior. Harris collects this ball that was given away, and then De La Rosa takes it away. De La Rosa has Riker to her right. Ooh, and the pass is picked off, but then brought back by De La Rosa, and we have a foul on Harris-Stowe State, and a pretty decent chance for St. Francis to put some on net here coming up on the free kick. I'm going to guess it's going to be Harris, and she's got quite the foot, but it looks like actually Estrada's going to be the one to take this. Harris-Stowe State will set the wall up, and we're getting pretty close to our mandatory, if it's too hot, water break coming up, which I don't blame them. I think when they do that, I will take a water break myself. About 26 and a half minutes remaining in the first half, and Estrada with perhaps the best chance for the Saints so far today. It's a 3-woman wall set up. This free kick will come from about 25 yards out. Call it 26. Chavez lining up the wall. Estrada standing over this free kick. Looks like Harris is open in the middle. Let's see what Estrada does. She puts it on frame, and it's just a little bit too high. A good attempt from Estrada trying to curl that ball back in, but it just misses the far upper 90. Good chance for the Saints, but it'll be a goal kick for Harris-Stowe State. Third shot of the day for St. Francis. Harris-Stowe State has yet to get a shot off in today's contest. Ball taken away nicely by Riker. De La Rosa's there. Alonso also. Alonso takes it away. Alonso with Riker in the middle. Finds her, but she's heavy pressure, and it's taken away by a nice defensive play by Harrington. All bounces all the way back to Estrada. I think thought about playing it back to the keeper. Doesn't, and now Lundberg takes it away. Lundberg has a player wide open in the middle of the box, and a heck of a job by Estrada to recover. And Estrada just sends it out for a throw-in. So she gives the ball away and then has the extra defensive effort. Really good job by Estrada to make sure that Lundberg didn't have a chance to send a pass to Tori Helms in the middle, who was wide open for an easy one-on-one with the keeper. Throw in coming for Harris-Stowe State. This is Harrington ready to take the throw in. Here it comes. Circling towards the box. Now bounced up into a dangerous area. Brought down by a Harris-Stowe State Hornet and cleared away by St. Francis. It's not quite enough finesse on that touch by one of the Hornets there in the middle. I think that was Joanna Wallstab. It was. Wallstab, the sophomore out of Germany we mentioned earlier, but a tough ball, trying to bring the ball down when it's up by your hip and trying to collect it and then have the presence of mind to fire a shot as well. Not particularly easy. Which is unable to keep control of it, and the Saints were able to clear it. Lundberg has this one sent over the near sideline. We're getting pretty close to that mandatory water break coming up here with about 23 and a half minutes to go first half. Katurba sends it towards the far side. McDermott chasing it down, and she reaches it in time to win another throw-in. Saints continue to work their way up the field via throw-ins. Last year's leading scorers for the Saints, Carly Draheim, who graduated as a senior last year, had 2 game winners. And so did Olivia De La Rosa. Both players had 5 goals and 2 game winners. Here is De La Rosa. Has it taken away. And now a bouncing ball. Estrada trying to get there first. Nicely done by the USF defender, who goes tumbling to the ground but sacrifices her body to avoid a Harris-Stowe chance going the other way. Madison Henyon now bringing it down. One of the newcomers, transfer from Joliet Junior College. JJC was a heck of a program last year. I think they made it to the regional final. Had a really good season. Hosted that regional final here, I believe, at ATI Field, so certainly not unfamiliar territory for some of those JJC Wolves. Played here before. Those are a couple of good pickups for John Niksevich. We'll get to some of the newcomers here in just a little bit. Harris threw it in. Riker was looking at somebody else trying to get some position, and now we are going to stop for a water break. So we'll take a quick break here with 21:55 remaining in the contest. We'll be right back as well. Take a little bit of a quarter break here on GoFightingSaints.com. Welcome back from our quick water break here at ATI Field. It's a very hot and humid day, so there is a mandatory water break about halfway through each half that is given to each team, and so we've hit that mark. It's 21:55 to go here in the first half. We're still scoreless. If you're just joining us, St. Francis is outshot Harris-Stowe State 3-0 thus far, playing with the wind, which is a key factor here at ATI Field. And Camila Chavez is going to get us restarted. Check that. Actually, it'll be Georgia Harrington who gets us started, the junior out of Milton Keynes, England. And we're underway again. St. Francis, as a reminder, in the brown uniforms. Harris-Stowe State wearing yellow today. That ball sent well out of play. And a throw-in coming for the Saints. We noticed how important it was to get on top in the half. You're playing with the wind. Saints opting to play with the wind here in this first half, or perhaps Harris-Stowe State opting to play against the wind here in the first half. Either way, it'd be nice for the Saints to get something on the board during this half. And it's not to say you certainly can't score against the wind. It just makes it a little tougher in that it makes it require many more finite passes in a row to get that offense going. We have not seen Harris-Stowe State have a shot to this point. It also just makes the general goal kick like that. I mean, if you take it with the wind, it probably goes well past midfield, and the ball's already out of the defensive half. On the other side, you saw that one. It did not even make its way to midfield, so the ball's still in the defensive half. This means a lot more game time in the defending half of the field. This ball played ahead nicely by Harris-Stowe State. Estrada tries to bring it down, and she clears it far side. And a throw-in coming up for the Hornets. Ball headed down by the defender, Madison Hanyon, but kept in by Harris-Stowe State and taken away by Martina Katurba. Good-looking pass for Hannah Riker up the far side. Riker trying to get there first, battling with the defender, Cayetana Vierna, and she does win that ever so briefly until Harris-Stowe State gets it back. Today feels more like an August evening than Wednesday did when the Saints men's soccer team hosted Mount Mercy. It was a gorgeous kind of semi-summer, semi-fall evening. It was in the high 60s with no wind. Couldn't have had better playing conditions, especially on August 22nd, which normally would be a lot like today, August 26th, which is 90 degrees and humid. Down goes Brittany Cook, battling on the far side with Tori Helms. Katurba has it taken away. Here's Lundberg in the middle of the field. She's seemed a bit dangerous, but has not taken a shot yet. Good-looking ball towards goal, and a shot and a save by Provo, and then a clear by, I think that was Hanyon, and a corner coming up. That was Sara Hernandez with the shot. A good save by Provo, and a beautiful ball by Noyola to send Hernandez behind the defense, and now we'll have a corner coming up. This is going to be Joanna Wallstad to take it. Looks like we have some discussion in the box right now between Estrada and Lundberg. It's quite the matchup. One of the top defenders for the Saints, one of the top attackers for Harris-Stowe. Here comes the corner. It's a low line drive headed towards goal and out of play. I think there was a Harris-Stowe State player who got a head on it. It will be a goal kick. Meanwhile, Kelly Petrowski will come in for the Saints, replacing De La Rosa. I believe that was number 16, Lila Rudloff, who was able to get a header shot off the corner kick. Ball flicked on ahead for Harris-Stowe State. Starting to find a little bit of momentum after that water break timeout. We get a little bit more in their offensive third. And so their first couple of shots of the day have come in the last minute or so. About 17 minutes to play here in the first half. Mostly sunny skies, 90-ish degrees, and pretty decent humidity. There is a breeze down on the field, which I'm sure is helpful, but not enough for a day like today. Ball cleared away by St. Francis. That was Vierna who tried at it and then kicked well upfield by St. Francis, and got a couple of attackers chasing, and wisely the ball is sent to the near side away from those two oncomers. And that is going to be offsides on Harris-Stowe State. Looked like Hernandez was caught offsides that time. Kiki Estrada will put this into play very close to midfield. And she's going to have to bring it back to about another 10 yards or so. Harris-Stowe perhaps feeling out the Saints in the first 20 minutes or so, and now starting to up their attack just a touch. They've had a couple of shots here in the last 5 minutes. They didn't have any shots in the first 25 or so. Casey Harris battling with Lundberg. Haley Wenberg against Noyola, and now Estrada fighting for it. Lundberg almost on the other end of that pass. Instead, Harris boots it to the far side. Harris-Stowe State with some solid possession here in the last 10 minutes or so. Looking to find another opportunity at goal. Saints defense trying to keep them out of there. There is a shot from the far side. That was Hernandez. And it was easily saved by Provo. Second shot on goal and second save by Provo. First one actually brought up a rebound that the Saints were fortunate to clear away before there was another chance. That one she easily was able to catch. And a foul on the Hornets in the middle of the field. We'll keep it with St. Francis. Kiki Estrada will be the one to take this well away from goal. So certainly not a chance to put one on frame here, but maybe a chance to spark something up the other way for St. Francis. Here is Estrada. Towards Alonso, headed down right into the middle by a Harris-Stowe defender, and then cleared away by another. Wenberg chips it up. Petrowski trying to cut back to the inside. Couldn't quite control it. And a throw-in coming for St. Francis. And Wenberg. She finds Petrowski in the middle of the field, but the touch sends it to Noyola, and there it goes away for Harris-Stowe State. This one just sent ahead. I think maybe hoping that Lundberg would chase it. It was up by Helms and goes all the way to Provo, the keeper for St. Francis, who played 140 minutes in net last year for the Saints, had 6 saves. One shutout. The one game she started was a shutout, and she won that game. It was the only decision she had last year. Ball taken away nicely by Riker. Here's Petrowski in the middle of the field. She takes a shot, and it's saved by Chavez. 4th shot of the day for St. Francis, their first in about 20 minutes. Nicely done by the Saints to get that offense going quickly. Alonso has it near side. 2 defenders around her. Needs some help. Petrowski trailing not De La Rosa. That's Riker in the middle. Petrowski does well to stay in front and win a throw-in. And we'll have a couple of subs coming up. Halie Bazan checking in for St. Francis, replacing Wenberg. And Lundberg heads out for Harris-Stowe State. In for Lundberg is Rachelle Gray, a forward and a sophomore out of Belleville, Illinois. And here is Gray in the forward spot, already quickly in on the action. Brittany Cook, good job of cutting off Gray, and she keeps it in play. Nice job by Brittany Cook defensively. She was a starter last year and shows that experience. Here's Halie Bazan charging up the near side. So both subs getting right into the action immediately. And some applause for both subs on both sides as they do well. And here is Bazan with the throw-in coming up. Halie Bazan, a freshman from Joliet Central. Ball played up for Riker, and Chavez is there. Game has certainly opened up since we took that water break halfway through the half. Now playing with just under 12 minutes to play, and certainly both sides seeing the better of offensive action. Both teams feeling each other out in the first 22 minutes. A little friendly fire there as Petrowski runs into Alonso, and it looks like a whistle comes. Coaches on Harris-Stowe side certainly not happy about this call. It looked like some friendly fire between the two. Petrowski ran into, I think that was Alonso. It was Alonso who went down. I think the referee is saying that one of the Harris-Stowe players pushed Petrowski into Alonso, which would then call for the foul. But either way, it's going to be a pretty dangerous area for this free kick for St. Francis. Even closer than the one Estrada had earlier, this time just inside 25 yards out. The wall is moving, and I think the middle official, Miguel Chavez, is still explaining his case on why he called this foul. This would certainly be a controversial goal if it did end up being one. Casey Harris has a strong shot. She is staring down this free kick. Chavez at net. Lots of Saints to the left and one Saint to the right, Grace McDermott. Harris winds up, fires a low shot. It's blocked by the wall. Takes another one. It's also blocked by the wall. So a nice job by Harris-Stowe State. That's 2 shots blocked, and that's exactly why the wall's there. Sacrifice your body to make sure the offensive opportunity isn't there. Petrowski sends it to the middle. Back for Katurba, who sends it high and out of play. A good job by the Saints to get some offense going. That one was tipped back by Alonso for Katurba, who sent it a little too high. Couple of subs for Harris-Stowe State. Update you on those in just a second. Isabella Tedesco comes into the game. Also Mia Tucker for the first time. Both players coming in. A throw in on the far side for Harris-Stowe State coming up. The Hornets 6 and 11 last year. Gave up 2.1 goals per game. Excuse me. Their opponents scored, 2.1 per game. Let's see if they have some of the key players returning. Check that out in just a bit. Katurba fighting for this one. Does take it away. Brought down by Riker on the far side. And there is Madison Henyon, her JJC teammate, now St. Francis teammate. Nice little flick on by Harris there. I don't know if that's exactly what she was looking for, but it ended up being really good right for Petrowski. Bazan's pass to the middle is a little in front of Harris, a little behind Petrowski, and a throw-in coming for St. Francis on the near side. You see Joanna Wallstab last year had 10 assists and 4 goals. She is back. One of the key contributors for Harris-Stowe State, back again for this season. Wallstab, we mentioned the sophomore out of Germany earlier. Obviously, both goalkeepers that we talked about, Chavez and Vettel, both back for Harris-Stowe State. Chavez being the starter last year and also starting this year in the Hornets' first game of the season. See, Georgia Harrington had a goal last year. See, Noyola had 3 goals, 2 assists. It was a pretty solid offense for Harris-Stowe State. 36 goals in 17 games, so over 2 goals per game. The record not exactly indicative of how well they played last year. Petrowski, nice ball for the shot, and the second shot is good. A goal for Alejandra Alonso, and it'll be assisted by Riker after her shot set up the rebound. First goal of the season for the Saints. First goal for Alonso. And also a sub coming in for the Saints. Alonso scores the goal, and then she comes off. And we're back underway. So the Saints take the lead here at home. It's 1-0 here in the latter portions of the first half. Arely Sanchez checks in for the first time. She replaces Alonso, and the Saints do have the lead, playing with the wind here at ATI Field. 1-0. Ball flicked on by one of the Harris-Stowe attackers, brought down by Hanyon and sent away. Nice job by the Saints. There was a really good pass to Riker, and I missed who that pass was. I had to look at it on the replay. But that really set up the whole opportunity, because then Riker was one-on-one with the keeper, Chavez. Took the shot, Chavez with a nice save, but then that left the rebound wide open. Because it was such a difficult shot, she couldn't control it, and that's when the ball went right to Alonso, who had the easy work of just putting it in the empty net. Gray has the ball, sends it to the near side. This is Noyola, who had... Ooh, Provo can't quite control it, and Gray ties the game. And it's the first goal of the season for Harris-Stowe State. And we're tied at 1 here in the later portions of the first half. Very quickly, both teams get on the scoreboard.
Shake it off, let's go! Shake it off, Ellie, let's go! You got this, girl!
Ellie Provo couldn't quite control that one, and it bounced right into a dangerous area, and with her on the ground, it was an easy finish for Gray, who gets her first goal of the year. Sarah Heimberg checks in for the first time. She replaces Madison Hanyon. The Saints going as deep as they can into their bench today with the hot weather, and I don't blame them. Seen a couple of subs for Harris-Stowe State as well, and looks like offsides here is the call on Harris-Stowe State with 5 minutes to go in the opening half. 1-1 tie score, and the goals come less than 2 minutes apart. Estrada sends it after the offsides call. Bouncing off the head of Petrowski and out of play. Excuse me, Sanchez, that was, and out of play. The goals from Alejandra Alonso, the senior. I believe she's a senior. Let me double check on that. She might be. Yes, she's a senior out of Hoffman Estates. Transfer from Chicago State. Came in last year for the Saints. And Alonso had 5 assists, just 1 goal last year. But, hey, there's her first of 2018. Put the Saints ahead 1-0 before Rachelle Gray quickly bouncing back as there's a cross sent in. Pretty good one from Noyola. And Provo came out to try to play it, and she just couldn't quite collect it, and it ended up right at the feet of Gray. And with Provo on the ground, it was a relatively smooth finish for Gray to knot the game up at 1. Less than 5 minutes to play here in the first half. That one sent away by St. Francis. Seems that the wind has died down just a bit, which helps the Harris-Stowe side in this first half. It'll help the Saints in the second half when they're playing against it. And as we've seen, that is not the end-all be-all, of course. Just a factor that must be taken into account. Sanchez has it. Lifts it for Bazan, but it's a little too far. This is Tedesco in the middle. Sends it to Telms, who has it go to Noyola, and then this one easily controlled by Provo. Harris has it now. Looking for space. Nice ball for Petrowski. Petrowski cuts to the inside, finds Harris again. Harris with a chance to fire a shot. It goes off the crossbar. Oh, heck of a shot by Casey Harris. Just a little too high. And it'll be a goal kick coming up for Harris-Stowe State. But what a great job of setting up that opportunity. Harris to Petrowski, and then right back to Harris, who has vacated right in the middle of the field. And she has a very strong leg. And that one just off of the crossbar, trying to put the Saints back on top. Ball sent ahead by Harris-Stowe State. Harrington was the one. And now a throw in on the far side for the Saints. Less than 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Getting close to the 1 minute mark. Getting close to halftime. Well, we'll take a break during halftime, but we'll come back to the start of the second half and give you a little recap of what the action that happened here in the opening 45 minutes. Maybe halftime will give you a chance to check in on St. Xavier playing Bethany from Kansas. See how the fellow CCAC squad is doing. And as I mentioned before, you want the CCAC schools to do great in the non-conference to really boost your conference's kind of knowledge of the conference on the national stage. And then, of course, when you get into conference, you got to beat those teams, and that's how you get more teams in the rankings and more respect nationally. A minute to play now. And we got a foul, I think, in the middle of the field on St. Francis as player goes down. Looks like Tucker was the one who was fouled. And Harrington will get us started here in just a bit. Maybe one last chance for Harris-Stowe here to send a ball upfield and get something going. Halie Bazan has that go off her chest. She's set up. And Petrowski has that go off her arm, and she knew it. And she booted the ball away just because. Less than 30 seconds left. I don't think there's going to be enough time for Harris-Stowe State to really set something up offensively, but you never know with 20. And it looks like they're content to head into the locker room. They tie score at 1. We'll send this free kick ahead. Harrington, good boot. Casey Harris brings it down, and the final seconds of the half tick away. And the score, St. Francis 1, Harris-Stowe State 1. Alejandra Alonso the goal for St. Francis. And then less than 2 minutes later, Harris-Stowe State answers with a goal by Rachelle Gray. We'll be back with a full recap of the first half in about 15 minutes on GoFightingSaints.com. Welcome back to ATI Field. Second half of action underway between the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints and the Harris-Stowe State University Hornets. Luke Tanaka with you. Glad to have you alongside for this edition of USF Women's Soccer on GoFightingSaints.com. Just underway here in the second half, and let's take you through some of the first half statistics. Of course, so you see our score at the moment, 1-1. Both goals coming in the last 10 minutes of the first half, and we'll recap the goal scoring in just a bit right after these statistics. 10 shots for the Saints, just 4 for Harris-Stowe State, but of course you saw where it matters, 1-1 tie score. However, Harris-Stowe State, despite only having 4 shots, 3 of them have been on goals. They've been more accurate, more on target with those shots. Despite maybe more chances for the Saints, the quality of chances has been relatively similar. USF with 2 shots on goal, one of them that found the back of the net. 1 save for Harris-Stowe State's Camila Chavez and 2 saves for USF's Ellie Provo. Fouls pretty limited, no cards in that first half. Couple of offsides for Harris-Stowe State, 1 corner apiece. And that's just about it in terms of statistics. So the goals were scored. The first goal scored by St. Francis in the 38th minute. There's some very nice passing all around. Initially, the ball was, I believe, with Martina Katurba, who threaded a pass to Kelly Petrowski, and quickly, as Chavez is able to collect that one on the near side of the post. So Petrowski, then kind of patrolling in the middle about 20 yards out, threaded a really nice pass to Hannah Riker, who hit a hard shot one-on-one with the keeper. It was a good save by Chavez, but the rebound went right to Alejandra Alonso, who had the easy job of just cleaning up the trash, as they say in hockey, just finding the back of the net off the rebound. And that was the goal for St. Francis in the 38th minute. And then in the 40th minute, just less than 2 minutes later, it was Rachelle Gray receiving another type of rebound attempt, though I believe it was a cross, not a shot, from Juliana Noyola that came in from the near side, and Provo just couldn't quite handle it. Leaked away from her just enough for Gray to come in and fire a shot into the empty net with Provo down on the ground, and that knotted our score back up at 1, and that's where we sit right now, here just a couple minutes into the second half. Looks like a lot of the starters have made their way back onto the field to start this second half. That was Helms in the middle of the field, giving it off to the far side. Harris-Stowe State, now remember the wind is blowing from right to left, so Harris-Stowe State playing with the wind here in the second half. And the wind, although it's not the end-all be-all, it certainly is a factor when it comes to threading passes and then overall general possession in the offensive half versus the defensive half. Olivia Hollander back into the game, sends that one up ahead. De La Rosa can't find it, and eventually it's put out of play by one of the defenders. For the Hornets, that was Caitlin Johnson, number 14, who was able to sweep in there to send the ball away out of danger. Nice play there by De La Rosa to Katurba, but then the pass is well behind Alonso, and it will roll for a Hornets throw-in on the far side. Saints come into this game 0-1 after dropping their opener to Clark on the road in Iowa last weekend. And then they will have a whole nother week off coming up. In fact, it's been 8 days between games since the Saints last played last Saturday, I believe. Or was it last Sunday that they played? You know what, I think it was last Saturday at Clark on the 18th. And then the 26th here at home against Harris-Stowe State. And then the Saints won't play again until Labor Day, Monday, September 3rd, I believe that is this year. Yep, here at home against Asbury. Casey Harris with a throw-in. She's got a little help from the wind from the near side. Ball sent in, headed away by one of the Harris-Stowe defenders, and Harris will either try again or give it the duty up to somebody else. Instead, Grace McDermott will get a chance this time. So let's see, for the Saints on the field right now, you got up front, you got Martina Katurba, Olivia De La Rosa's up there as well. Ball taken away by Harris-Stowe, and they'll head up the other way. Alejandra Alonso on the left side. In the midfield, Olivia Hollander, Casey Harris also in there, and Some of the defenders, Brittany Cook, Kiki Estrada, Grace McDermott, Haley Wenberg also back there, and the keeper, Ellie Provo. Chipped ahead. Ball bouncing, and it will continue to roll all the way out of play. Stopped by the referee ever so nicely. Looks like the referee has opted for the hat. I don't blame him. It's a bit sunny on that side. That's David Avinjone over on the other side doing the officiating. In the middle, Miguel Chavez. And then on the near side, Eli Sanchez, who's also gone with the hat. Chavez, I don't know if Chavez in the middle of the field can go with the hat. You want to make sure you can see everything, even up. Out of play, far side, throw in St. Francis. Just under 6 minutes into this second half, 1-1 tie score. I mentioned in the first half that St. Xavier is in action today, the only other CCAC squad playing here on Sunday. And let's check in to see how the St. Xavier women's team is doing out there. That was a 12 o'clock start for them, so they should be through the game by now. Foul there in the middle of the field, and it looks like Bethany, Kansas has defeated St. Xavier by a score of 2-1, so St. Xavier falls to 0-1 on the season after the loss to Bethany. Free kick for Harris-Stowe State. Low line drive, brought down by one of the Saints, and then Casey Harris collects. I think that was Madison Hanyon in the middle. Nicely done by her to keep that ball away from net. Olivia De La Rosa, and player goes down hard, and De La Rosa will get called for the foul. Pretty physical maneuver there by De La Rosa, trying to beat Caitlin Johnson to the ball. Johnson was quick to get back up on her feet. It looks like she's okay. Maybe just brushing some of the turf pellets off the right leg. And adjusting the socks a little bit as well. So after the foul, it'll be Harrington to get us back started for Harris-Stowe. So 2-1 loss for St. Xavier, CCAC squad, against Bethany of Kansas. This ball taken away, and now a chance perhaps for the Hornets, but it's taken right back. Brittany Cook and Kiki Estrada combine on the takeaway. And then Hanyon, after a couple of heads around the ball, collects. Katurba, good-looking pass from Hanyon. De La Rosa now back up the near side. Harris, nice job to keep it in play. Harris sends one to the middle for Alonso and De La Rosa, and some fans are not particularly happy with the push that may have taken place in the box. But Chavez runs the ball all the way to the end line. It'll be a throw-in for the Hornets. And I think they would not be happy about the push on Alonso in the middle of the box. Alonso, the deal was the pass was behind her, so she had to stop her momentum and go back, and with the defender right behind her, that is one way, I suppose, that fouls can be called. I'm not sure, but the fact that Alonso had to go back into the defender makes me think that's what the referee saw. Chavez sends it away, but not very far out. Hollander tries to chip it back in, and keeping it in play on the near side, Hernandez. Or excuse me, that was Vierna, I should say. McDermott. It's a little run over by her own teammate in Harris, and now the ball collected by Helms, Tori Helms. Finds Fajardo. Now Hollander looking around. Brittany Cook, Madison Hanyon, I should say, and that one is just ripped by her opposing 7, Helms, all the way to Ellie Provo, the keeper for St. Francis. Still no shots yet in this second half of action, about 10 minutes in. Teams have had some decent looks. Just hasn't materialized into a shot as of yet. Saints coming into this matchup with a record of 0-1, and we'll go through the schedule as well. Mentioned On Labor Day, the Saints back at home here on that Monday. Face off against Asbury from Kentucky. And then it'll be another 6 days until the 9th of September when the Saints host Davenport from Michigan here at home. Then USF won't have another home game for 9 days, but they will travel to Michigan back-to-back days. They'll take on Cornerstone on the road in Grand Rapids and then stay up in the Grand Rapids area to face Aquinas on the 14th and the 15th. And then, hard to believe, but CCAC play will start on the 18th. Here at home, USF will face off against Calumet St. Joseph. And then 3 consecutive road games for the Saints. It's a little bit more home-heavy in October, but Saints round out September with road games at St. Xavier on the 22nd, at Olivet Nazarene on the 26th, and then at Trinity Christian on the 29th. And at home, Cardinals Stritch, 7 o'clock start October 2nd. That'll certainly be a big one for the Saints, as they all are come conference play, of course. But Stritch, one of the top teams in the league last year, coming here to ATI Field. Then another home game at home against Trinity International that's a Saturday, October 6th. That'll be a 5 o'clock start. At Judson on the 13th after a week off. At home against Roosevelt on the 16th at 7. 2 consecutive road games in late October before the last game of the year, regular season game of the year, which will be Senior Day here at home, I believe. St. Ambrose on the 27th. Those 2 road games are at Robert Morris on the 20th and at Holy Cross on the 24th. So that's the Saints schedule this year. The CCAC tournament will take place in November. Quarterfinals set for the 3rd, semifinals on the 7th, and then the championship game set for the 10th. Of course, a long way to go before we get to that area of the schedule, as Harris-Stowe State has that ball go out of bounds, and a goal kick will come up for USF and Ellie Provo. Only a couple teams in the CCAC have played 2 games so far this season. Robert Morris has played 2. They are 1-0-1, and Judson has played 2. They are 0-2 so far this year. Most other teams have played 1. A couple teams have yet to get started so far this year. It is still relatively early. Many schools have not even got back into classes quite yet. And it looks like the referee just halting things briefly. He's talking to somebody. I'm not sure he's talking to Alonso or maybe talking to Harrington. Not entirely sure. But our center official, Chavez, has certainly wanted to check in on a couple of things. Just make sure he's keeping the game in hand. Certainly don't blame him for that. Lundberg able to collect, but now taken away by St. Francis. Here's Hanyon. And up to Katurba. Katurba with lots of space in front of her. Sends it up the line for Alonso. Alonso does track it down, and it's poked out of play by Johnson, the Harris-Stowe defender. Alonso wants to restart quickly. Katurba chips it back, but a Harris-Stowe defender takes it away ever so briefly until Hollander has it. Katurba trying to get there first, couldn't. Johnson got there. Ball just hanging around there in the middle. A couple of Harris-Stowe players around it. And then again, really nobody wanted the ball, so Alonso said, yeah, I'll take it. That's fine. Hanyon right in the middle. Tons of space. Hanyon thought about taking a shot. Now has another opening. Chips one up towards De La Rosa, and it's cleared away. Couldn't quite pull the trigger, and another whistle. I think De La Rosa hit the deck, so Chavez, the middle official, just making sure that she's okay, and she is. De La Rosa will walk it off, and now I'm not entirely sure. Oh, it looks like they called a foul on St. Francis here. I think it was the near side official who called the foul on De La Rosa, who may have been just a little too anxious to get into that ball in that area. So I think that was the call. And play continued. We didn't see a whistle or anything until much later. And we're going to stop the clock here. And it looks like Chavez will go over. And they're going to give a penalty kick. Okay, this one confuses me a little bit. But it looks like St. Francis has been awarded a penalty shot. And now the keeper, Chavez, just went and squirted down the ball with water. Now, I don't think, I've never seen that before. I don't know exactly what that does. So Kiki Estrada is going to get that ball out of there, and they're going to get a new ball in there. But that is a gamesmanship tactic that I have yet to see. But I suppose a slippery, wet ball might be a little different. And now the official is giving the coaching staff for Harris-Stowe State a discussion, kind of an explanation of what just happened. And, I would love one too, but I don't think they're going to come up here to talk to me. So I'm just going to have to say that somewhere there was a foul in the box, and De La Rosa must have been the one that got fouled. She's the one that clapped when the decision was made. And now both teams are just going to kind of collect together and regroup. I think both teams might be a little shocked by the result. Of course, St. Francis much happier about the result of the call and that they're going to get a penalty shot here. So I'm not sure who's going to take it for St. Francis. We've seen a couple people last year took penalty shots, but really Carly Draheim, I think, was the main penalty shot taker last year, and she's no longer with the program, of course, as a senior last year. So, Harris is certainly a candidate, and now I think the Saints going to come over to get some water, and I don't blame them. It's pretty warm out there today. If you're just joining us, it's well over 90 degrees and humid. I think they tried to, and then now the referee sets us up. It looks like Estrada has the ball, so maybe it'll be Estrada take this one. With 30:37 to go, Kiki Estrada is going to have a chance to put the Saints back on top. 1-1 tie score, about 15 minutes into the second half. Estrada camped over this penalty shot. Estrada winds up, fires, and it's saved. And the shot is saved by Chavez. Heck of a save by Camila Chavez. And now we continue play, and this time the Saints will have a corner kick coming up. See if USF can still capitalize on this opportunity. Now John Niksevich is talking to the official, wondering about something. People from the stands, I can hear them saying on the crowd mic that a yellow was given to the keeper. Now, I didn't see the yellow, but maybe that's just because I wasn't looking for it. Oh, and now now the Saints are looking for a handball, and now the officiating crew is really getting a earful from the crowd down below us. But another corner coming for Harris. That one was dangerously close to a handball in the box, but it looked inadvertent from my vantage point. And now we're going to stop the clock again, and let's see. John Niksevich still having a discussion with the official from about 30 yards away. And the official continuing to tell him to move back towards his bench. Needless to say, it's only been about the last 5 minutes, but the officiating crew has not made a whole lot of fans. And again, that's not their job. Back underway. Here comes another corner from Harris. Headed back in towards the box by McDermott. Brought down by Harris on the near side. Harris looking to thread another pass. Instead, it'll be yet another corner for St. Francis. Third corner in a row. Let's see if St. Francis can get something going on this one. USF had a penalty shot saved by the keeper from Harris-Stowe State, Chavez. Heck of a save by her. And Harris will wind up for another corner. This will be the Saints' fourth of the day and the third in the last 2 minutes. Here it comes. It's a high arcing corner that goes well beyond everybody and will go out of play for Harris-Stowe State throw-in. Maybe everything will calm down just a bit. McDermott charges back defensively to make sure Lundberg doesn't have a chance at it. And a throw-in coming for the Hornets. Down to take it will be Fajardo. Defender, a freshman from Zion, Illinois. Bouncing ball in the box, kind of dangerously. Brittany Cook being charged by Lundberg. And she passes to the near side. Hanyon tries to send it up the line, taken away by the Hornets. Ball sent in, deflects off, I think, a teammate. And now a foul on Harris-Stowe State will give a free kick to USF. 27:40 remaining. Second half, still tied at 1. Thanks to the save from Chavez on the penalty shot from Kiki Estrada. Estrada hit a solid shot, about head height, heading towards the goal on the right side, and Chavez guessed right. Nothing really you could do there but tip your cap to the keeper and say that's just a great save. Nice play, Katurba, towards Alonso, and she just couldn't quite get enough on the shot. Saved by Chavez, that's her third of the contest. So they did end up giving Chavez a yellow card. I just did not see the referee show that. Now that ball taken away. Here's a shot and a goal. Shot scored by Harris-Stowe State on the far side. And we'll check to see. Can't quite tell who that is yet. I think it's Tori Helms. And that just put Harris-Stowe State up 2-1. That ball just not quite played by the defense, and Helms all of a sudden found it at her feet, and she shot and scored. Unassisted, it's Helms' first goal of the season. Back underway. And Tori Helms' first goal of the season. Helms, a junior out of Sikeston, Missouri. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. 5'5" midfielder. She scores the second goal of the game, and Harris-Stowe State has the lead 2-1. Ticking down relatively close to the halfway through the half water break coming up. 25 and a half minutes to go here in the second half. The Saints now playing from behind for the first time in the contest. Estrada sees that ball out. Did she? It's going to be a foul on Harris-Stowe State. So it'll be a free kick for St. Francis coming up. Helms not in the stats from last year, so I assume that she is a transfer. And she makes her presence felt in a big way here in game number 1 of the season, putting Harris-Stowe State up 2-1. Estrada has the ball brought right back to her, so she'll just send it away once again. And here's Alejandra Alonso. Nice ball up for De La Rosa. Has Katurba ahead. And the pass does end up going off the line. I think it deflected off a defender. Finds Katurba anyway. Martina Katurba forced off the ball by one of the defenders. Still fighting for it. And it's going to be a corner for St. Francis. So St. Francis wins the corner. Nice job by Katurba to get it. And it'll be the 4th corner of the half for USF. 5th total of the contest. And another chance for Casey Harris to lift a dangerous ball into the box. 2-1 Harris-Stowe State, second half, 24 minutes to play in regulation. Harris lines it up. Here come the Saints into the box. Here comes the corner kick. It's low and sent away at the near post by one of the Hornets defenders. There are many in the box in the area. And then Helms, the second goal scorer, comes up with the ball, and a nice job by the senior Wenberg to keep that ball out of harm's way. Got two subs ready to check in for St. Francis at the next opportunity. Kelly Petrowski and Hannah Riker both want in. Both of them came on in the first half a little bit later as well. Estrada plays back for Provo, who chips it right back to Estrada. Recollects after the pressure by Lundberg. Now Estrada with a little extra time, and she does boot it away. Well controlled by Alonso, who finds Harris up the line. Casey Harris looking for options, has De La Rosa, also has Alonso right there. Instead, chips it far side to a wide open Madison Hanyon. McDermott running up the near side is also wide open. Here she is, McDermott chipping it towards the box. De La Rosa's on the other end of it. She shoots it, it's a save. And we have a new keeper in the game. Now, I did not see the substitution made, but there is a new keeper in the game, and it is Jenna Vettel who comes in, perhaps at the last goal scoring opportunity. So St. Francis' De La Rosa with the shot, the save made by Jenna Vettel. And we are going to have our water break here, so we'll take a quick time out here at ATI Field, and we'll be back with the second portion of the second half. Harris-Stowe State leads 2-1. Back at it and underway here at ATI Field. And looks like Rachelle Gray has checked back in for Harris-Stowe State. And I believe many subs have just been brought in. It's Hannah Riker for the Saints has come in along with Kelly Petrowski, I believe. I haven't seen Petrowski yet, but I'm sure I will. Yes, I believe that's Petrowski out there as well. So a couple of subs for the Saints, and I'm sure for Harris-Stowe as well. Unfortunately, they don't have to check in, so I can't tell you who they came out for yet. I'll try my best to collect that information as soon as possible. But we are back underway. It's the final portions of the second half, and now USF essentially with a chance to tie the game. Here's Hannah Riker. Riker towards the middle. Good-looking ball. Petrowski chips it up and over the keeper into the goal. Kelly Petrowski on a really nice pass from Hannah Riker. And the Saints tie it up at 2. Right away, back underway. 2-2 tie score now between the Saints and the Hornets. Really nice ball by Riker, and then a heck of a shot from Petrowski, just chipping it high enough. So both the two subs, Petrowski and Riker, stepping up to combine for the second goal of the day for St. Francis and to tie the game back up at 2. McDermott throws it ahead. McDermott then wins it right back, but her pass attempt is blocked. Finds Casey Harris, Madison Hanyon to Petrowski. Quick passing for Olivia Hollander. Hollander chips it ahead, looking for Riker. 2 bounces, and the goalkeeper, Vettel, is there. Saints really gaining some good offensive momentum here. Another cross from Riker. This one is blocked, however. Riker chips it back in. A shot from Katurba that it gets blocked. And then another chance by Hanyon that is also rejected. And a good job by the defense of Harris-Stowe State to keep that ball away from goal. A couple of blocked shots for the Saints. That brings their total up to 16 today. Harris-Stowe State with just 5, but where it counts on the scoreboard, it is a 2-2 tie score. And it looks like a player is down, and I can't see because the tent is in the way at the moment, but I don't see cards being given. I see some water being given by some of the Saints on the bench. Looks like Alonso checked out for the Saints. I do see that. And a yellow card given, I think, and we're going to stop the clock here. Yellow card was given. I'm not entirely sure who it was given to. I may have my source down on the field who will tell me. It's going to be Rachelle Gray, one of the goal scorers in the first half. Second yellow issued to Harris-Stowe State. Back underway, Estrada with a good-looking free kick, bouncing around dangerously in the box, goes all the way to Wenberg, who tries to chip it back towards the middle, and then it's on a slide, kicked away, and then a foul on St. Francis will give Harris-Stowe State a free kick well back in their own defensive half. Just over 18 minutes to play. Here in regulation, 2-2 tie score. Ball sent away, that time by Vierna. And Gray, who just got the yellow card, trying to do something solid offensively. Remember, she did score the first goal of the game for Harris-Stowe State in the first half. Wenberg couldn't quite clear that one, and it's taken away by the Hornets. Ball chipped ahead. There is Gray with the ball. Nice job by Cook to meet the oncoming attacker, and then Provo with a nice slide to make sure that she covered up that ball before Lundberg had a chance. Looks like Helms was the one to come out when... Now Hannah Riker with a chance. Riker up to Katurba, looking for the extra touch. Couldn't quite get it, and it's cleared away by Harris-Stowe State. Harris looking for a shot this time. She does, and it's easily collected by the keeper. Vettel with the save. Under 16:30 to go. Halie Bazan wants to check in, and I can't see the number of the Harris-Stowe State player. Still wearing the red penny, so can't tell who that is who wants to check in for Harris-Stowe. We'll get to that number as soon as we can see it, as soon as she takes the red penny off. That would help. 17-5 are the shots in favor of USF, but only 7-4 in terms of shots on goal. And, of course, where it counts, it's 2-2 on the scoreboard. So although they've had the better of the looks, per se, the Saints still find themselves in a deadlock with the Hornets. Petrowski trying to get a turn to the ball. Both players battling, and, then down goes both of them, especially Harrington. And I think it would just be a foul on St. Francis. This is Kelly Petrowski here, and we are going to stop the clock. So it looks like some yellow will be pulled out, and Kelly Petrowski will be issued a yellow card. .24 remaining here in the second half. Referee indicating that that tackle was much too aggressive and deserving of a yellow card. Back underway, and a throw in for St. Francis in the defensive half. And we'll have some subs coming in. Cayetana Vierna comes out. She is replaced by Isabella Tedesco. Tori Helms back into the game, replacing Deja Lundberg. 14:30 to go. Both teams looking for that game-winning goal here in regulation. Try to put themselves on top here late. St. Francis has had the majority of the shots. The shots don't tell the whole story. 2-2 tie score tells the story to this point. Still some time left for more pieces of the story of this game to be written. Gray heads it on and ends up going out of bounds, and Halie Bazan will have the throw in. She just came into the game, replacing fellow Halie Wenberg. That pass could not quite be collected before it went over the end line, and so it'll be a throw in the other way for Harris-Stowe State. Joanna Wallstab over there to take it. Excuse me, it'll be somebody else for Harris-Stowe. It's a mostly sunny, warm, humid afternoon at ATI Field. A little more would you come to expect in August. The kind of day where you walk to the field and you're already sweating before you've even run or do anything else. You're already in that state. Ooh, referee gets a little jab in the leg there off the kick from Bazan that went out of bounds. Certainly not intentional by any means, but unfortunate. Kiki Estrada heads it up into the air. Kelly Petrowski trying to win the ball. Harris-Stowe has it. Here's the ball sent into the box and right into the awaiting arms of Ellie Provo. Third save of the day for USF's keeper Provo. Martina Katurba applying pressure and gets the ball back for Petrowski. Ooh, good look for Petrowski. Trying to find a Hannah Riker down the near sideline, but a nice job by Kaylin Johnson to stop that potential pass. What about a really good one? Estrada charging, trying to fend off Gray, and she does enough for Harris-Stowe to get a throw in. And now you get to the point where conditioning is a huge factor at this point of the game. It's hot, it's humid. You've played 78 minutes of soccer so far. The throw in on the far side will be for, I believe, that is Noyola. Get my binoculars out to see that far. Headed away by Hollander. Taken away by the Hornets. That's Hernandez passing back for Fajardo. Taken away by Helm. She's already scored one today. Looking for her second, and she scores. Tori Helms puts Harris-Stowe up by 1, 3-2. A shot from distance that finds the right upper 90. Second goal of the season, second goal of the first game of the year for Tori Helms. And she puts Harris-Stowe State up 3-2. "11 minutes to play in the contest. 11 minutes for the Saints to find an equalizer here in regulation. Try to send us to overtime. There was overtime in the first game here at St. Francis this season. It was the men's soccer team facing off against Mount Mercy, and the Saints lost to the Mustangs 3-2 in overtime. USF back in action tomorrow. They'll travel to Lincoln College in Illinois, and down goes Bazan, and Rachelle Gray will be called for the foul. Clock rolling with under 10 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in regulation. Next home contest for the Saints here in the fall sports will be the volleyball team hosting their home opener against Clark University from Iowa. It'll be on Tuesday, 7 o'clock at the Sullivan Center, so make sure you come on down to check that one out. We've got a couple of subs coming in here for St. Francis, I believe. Haley Wedberg and Olivia De La Rosa want back in. It looks like Hollander out and Harris out. It's the first time Casey Harris will have sat today. They get a well-deserved applause. It's a lot of running out there on such a very hot and humid day. See if the Saints can muster up a second or perhaps third wind here. Multiple bodies crashing. And I think the foul is going to go against St. Francis, which will set up Harris-Stowe State with a free kick from just beyond 30 yards out. 9 minutes to play. Time ticking on the Saints. I believe it's not Harrington to take this one. Somebody else for the Hornets. Ball chipped into the box, headed up into the air by Martina Katurba. And the ball chased out of bounds for a throw-in for Harris-Stowe State. Tori Helms brings the ball down. She's already scored twice today. Chips it for Gray, who scored the third goal for Harris-Stowe today. Here's Gray looking for an option. Takes a right-footed shot. Save by Ellie Provo. Good looking play by Gray, but just not able to get enough on it. Provo with a good diving save. Here's Hernandez, middle of the field. Katurba challenging on Tedesco and eventually take it away. Hannah Riker had a chance to help out with that takeaway. And the goalkeeper, Vettel, will send it away. Riker collects closer to midfield. Grace McDermott had to slide to save that one from going out of bounds. Now Katurba will have to do something similar. She does keep it in play, but goes to a woman wearing yellow. Wenberg ahead for Petrowski. Comes back to the ball nicely. Looking for options. Katurba. Back for Madison Hanyon. Up for Halie Bazan. Up from her defender position. Petrowski back to Bazan. Bazan with a shot that, it hits off the back of the post, I believe. Didn't hit the crossbar, but hit one of the posts of the goal. Lundberg back in, replacing Gray. Also in Mia Tucker. I'm waiting to see who she is coming on for. I believe it's Noyola. Harris and Alonso want to come back in for USF here in the final 6 minutes of the contest. Just a quick breather for Harris. Or Don Niksevich wants to get her right back on the field. Ball out of play. Throw in for Harris-Stowe State coming up. With less than 6 minutes to go, the Saints looking for an equalizer. Referee Chavez trying to urge Harris-Stowe on, wasting a little bit of time here. Lundberg collects. Ball taken away nicely. Haley Wenberg with the steal. Riker to Katurba. Riker streaking up the near sideline. Found by Katurba. Hannah Riker, the transfer from JJC, looking for Katurba in the middle, but the pass was a little too far in front of her. Katurba recollects. The shot she takes is blocked. Second shot scores! Kelly Petrowski ties it up for St. Francis. First goal of the year for Petrowski. Riker gets the assist after taking the initial shot. Five minutes, 23 seconds to go, all tied up. St. Francis not done yet, trying to get that extra goal. Back into the game now, Harris and Alonso. They replace the two who combined on the last goal, Riker and Petrowski. Under 5 minutes to play. Now all knotted up at 3. Much different game than the Saints saw on the road. It was a 1-0 loss against Clark. Lots of scoring today for both teams. USF found themselves in a hole for second time today, down 3-2, and find their way back into it. Halie Bazan, nicely done around the oncoming defender. Passes up for Alonso. Alejandra Alonso looking to the middle. Casey Harris. 4 minutes to go. And Harris-Stowe back up the other way. We do have extra time. It'll be 2 10-minute extra sessions. And a golden goal scenario. So if somebody scores, that's it. But we're still not there yet. Still 4 minutes to play, and St. Francis is not done. Harris finds De La Rosa. De La Rosa's touch just a little too far. Caitlin Johnson clears. Fans really starting to get into it down below us. Lundberg for Harris-Stowe, looking for Helms. The ball goes out of play. A throw-in coming. 3:30 to play. Still tied. Bouncing ball for Brittany Cook. Brittany Cook lets it go, and it'll go out of play. A little dangerous there not to chase it all the way to the sideline, but she was confident, and she was right. Ellie Provo with a chance to send one away. Kiki Estrada will take the goal kick here. Sends it up the near sideline. Lost out of bounds by the Hornets, throw-in Saints. Still plenty of time for both teams to find another offensive chance. Casey Harris looking to thread a pass for De La Rosa. Johnson is there to clear it into the near side seats. De La Rosa quickly restarting, looking for Harris up the sideline. Again, Johnson is there, but this time it'll be a corner for St. Francis. Casey Harris will be ready to take it. 2:30 to go. 3-3 tie score, Saints and Hornets. Casey Harris. This will be the 6th quarter of the day for USF. Many of them came earlier in the second half. We're not able to score off them. Maybe this time. Harris winds up. Here it comes. Good looking ball towards the back post. Headed down and over the goal by Alonso. Oh my. Alonso did everything she needed to do. She put the ball into the ground, and it bounces up off the turf and over the bar. Unreal. Back into the game for Harris-Stowe, Juliana Noyola and Cayetana Vierna. 90 seconds to play. Getting close to a minute remaining. 3-3 tie score. That ball will go all the way to Ellie Provo, who will pick it up in their hands and get ready to punt this one out. She does for Harris-Stowe State. 2 yellow cards for the Hornets, just 1 for the Saints. Final 40 seconds and maybe one. Here comes the free kick. Nice job by Cook to head it away. Alonso keeps it going away from St. Francis' defensive area. And Kiki Estrada touches that one, and this could be a final last-ditch corner kick attempt. It will be. I don't know if they're going to have enough time. Just 10 seconds left. One last chance, perhaps. And that will do it for regulation. And we will head to overtime here at ATI Field with the score tied at 3. We'll be right back in just a little bit with the 2 10-minute extra sessions. Extra time set up here at ATI Field. Luke Tanaka with you. Glad to have you alongside as the St. Francis Fighting Saints and the Harris-Stowe State Hornets the outcome cannot be determined by 90 minutes, and so we're going to play 2 10-minute overtimes unless somebody scores. It is golden goal scenario here. We saw that on Wednesday when the St. Francis men's team went to overtime and lost 3-2 about 5 minutes into the extra session. So we'll see if the Saints this time come out on top. 3-3 our tie score. Currently USF out shooting Harris-Stowe State 21-8. However, the shots on goal tell more of the equal story. USF with 8 shots on goal, Harris-Stowe State with 7. And we do have another change at goalkeeper for Harris-Stowe State. The starter, Chavez, is back in. Halie Bazan stays in for USF along with Wenberg, so a couple of players that subbed out for each other earlier now seeing the field at the same time. Two 10-minute overtimes. If cannot find a goal in the 20 minutes of extra time, then we will call it a tie as Lundberg bounces a ball to Provo. Ball chipped ahead. Kiki Estrada there to send it right back where it came from. Martina Caturba tries to find Alonso, but the pass a little arid. Helms has scored twice today for Harris-Stowe. She has the ball now. Passing to the near side. That's Noyola. But her pass, I think, intended right back for Helms. A little too strong. Alonso gets knocked off the ball. No whistle. And we play on. Looking pass for Helms, but she was offside. The third time Harris-Stowe State has been called for offside so far today. 7.5 minutes remaining. Ball booted ahead by St. Francis. Caturba almost there. It was Martina Caturba who had the assist on the second goal, or the third goal, so I apologize on that. I think I said Riker who had the assist on the second goal. So Martina Caturba with the shot that wound it up in the rebound. That sent it for Petrowski, who was able to tuck her shot inside the near post. Shooting at the right goal on the far side. Chavez with some instructions for her defense, and we do have a sub pretty quickly in this one. It's going to be Petrowski, who scored 2 goals back in for De La Rosa. Ball flicked ahead. Estrada moves it back up towards the offensive third. Harris fighting for the ball on the near side with Noyola. Noyola does well to keep it. But Harris right back with her, staying with her the whole way, and trying to get knocked off the ball, and eventually it's a foul on Harris. Six minutes to play, first overtime. Three, the tie score between the Hornets and the Saints. And then another collision, this time the two sixes colliding. That was Sara Hernandez and Brittany Cook, and Hernandez is going to get the call, so it'll be a free kick for Harris-Stowe State. Very tough angle, but potentially an opportunity to swing one into the box. Just about halfway through the first overtime session. Here comes the free kick. It's a good one, and Provo punches it away. Now a chance, and a shot is blocked. That was Hernandez with the shot, charging out one of the St. Francis defenders to block it. Alonso looking around and just sending it up the line, which will be a throw-in. One of the players we have not seen today, coming out with some sort of injury or something along those lines. Not entirely sure, don't have the full story, but Camille Papalera was a starting center defender for the Saints last year. A couple of players fall down, and we have a corner coming up for Harris-Stowe State, won by Lundberg. Will be taken on the far side. Looks like Hernandez will be the one to take it. Hernandez lining up this kick. Sent in, and I think a couple of heads going towards it, and I think Martina Gaturba got the best of it. And a nice job by her to send it away. Ball ahead. Saints have numbers forward. Gaturba finds Harris. Harris looking for Petrowski, who's already scored twice. Petrowski looking for Gaturba, and it goes out of bounds. And the Saints on the counter can't quite get something going. A little less than 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here in the first overtime session. 2 10-minute overtimes. That's the plan for us unless somebody scores, in which case the game will be over. Bazan with the throw-in, getting ready on the near side, and then nobody was home except for one of the yellow shirts, and she sends it up the other way. Here's McDermott. Has Alonso up the line. Good-looking pass to find her. Alonso trying to chase after this ball. Keeps it in. Has Harris to her right. Finds her. Harris, one touch. Back to Alonso. And I think Alonso was offside. She was. First offside called on the Saints today. Free kick coming for Harris-Stowe State. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first overtime session. Alejandra Alonso chips for Gaturba. Gaturba in the middle. Has Petrowski to her left. Cuts to the right. Gaturba takes a long shot that's well wide. Trying to score from distance there, about 25 yards out. Had an opening, just missed the target. Minute and a half to go, first overtime. Still tied at 3. Here's Lundberg, battling with Estrada. That's been a good battle all day long. Lundberg hasn't scored, but Harris-Stowe has scored 3 times. Now Harris. Harris with Petrowski in the middle. Also Alonso making a run. Passes back for Henyon. Takes a shot that is wide. And Chavez chases it all the way to the end, to the post to make sure. 1 minute to go. Three to 3 tie score. Saints and Hornets in an offensive battle here today at ATI Field. Harris chases after it, couldn't quite do it. Tori Helms for the Hornets. Kelly Petrowski with Saints, both with 2 goals. Other goals coming from Rachelle Gray for the Hornets, and also from Alejandra Alonso for the Saints. Both those goals scored in the first half. The double goal scorers did all of their damage in the second 45 minutes. Here's Gaturba. Down goes Gaturba, and the pass is picked off. Henyon, nice look for Gaturba. 10 seconds to go. Final seconds ticking away here. And that will do it for the first overtime session. And we'll head to the second overtime. Saints and Hornets still tied at 3. Underway in the second overtime session between the Harris-Stowe State Hornets and the St. Francis Fighting Saints. Luke Tanaka with you as quickly St. Francis has a chance. Harris with a bouncing cross that goes just over the outstretched foot of Alejandra Alonso. And now Harris-Stowe tries to counter, but it's quickly stifled by Kiki Estrada. Up for Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski finds Harris. Harris back to some space. Here's Hannah Riker. Back to Petrowski. Turns, fires a shot that is blocked, and then eventually cleared, but not all the way out. Harris now has it. St. Francis really applying the pressure here in the second overtime, and a throw-in coming for USF on the near sideline. 9 minutes to play in the contest. Regardless, if somebody scores, it's over. Nobody scores after those 9 minutes. We call it a tie. Harris with another chance for a throw-in. Chavez still in the game for Harris-Stowe. We've seen both keepers on the roster today as Alonso has a chance. Now another chance. It's blocked. Her second attempt is off the post, and it's cleared. Oh, my. Alonso was that close to her second goal of the game and the ender for the Saints. Golden opportunity, and it was inches from ending the game. Maybe not even inches, maybe centimeters. Great attempts by Alonso, who has already scored today. At that time, blocked by the right post. And we play on, 3-3. Now Harris-Stowe looking for a chance. Katurba with a nice defensive play to stifle that momentum. Here's Alonso. Battling and eventually cleared by another Hornet. Katurba brings it down. Sends it up ahead, looking for Harris. And Harrington this time sends it away. 7.5 minutes to play. Second overtime. 2 for Kelly Petrowski, both in the second half for USF. 2 in the second half for Tori Helms of Harris-Stowe, also both in the second half. Rachelle Gray had the first half goal for Harris-Stowe, tied the game at 1. That was after Alonso got the Saints on the board and the first goal of the game late in the first half. Here's Harris. The Saints have really put the pressure on here in the second overtime. Offense looking very good. Nice look from Harris to Petrowski. Back to Harris, but nice play by the defender. That was Vierna, who was able to get there first. Now Lundberg chasing after this one. Bazan goes down, and it'll be a foul on Lundberg. Bazan certainly giving up some height in that matchup. She was able to get position, but was bumped by Lundberg, and a free kick coming. Kiki Estrada sends it up field. 6 minutes to go, second overtime. On a hot and steamy day in Joliet, Illinois. 90-plus degrees, humidity high. Grace McDermott looking for options. Alonso's up the line. There she is. Alonso, nice pass to the middle, and Riker. Riker sends it for Petrowski, who's open in the middle. The pass was behind her, and the shot is blocked. Oh, such a good look by Riker. Her pass was maybe just a little behind Petrowski, which stopped her momentum, forced her to collect, and the shot ends up being blocked. St. Francis with a corner kick coming up. Harris to take another one. This will be her 7th of the game. Man, was that ever a good opportunity for St. Francis. Almost ending the game. Harris getting set to take this one, adjusting the ball ever so slightly. About halfway through the second overtime, Harris lays into the ball. Nice line drive kick. Headed up into the air. There really was nobody at the near post for the Saints, and so it ended up going to a defender right in the middle of the goal. This is the middle of the box. McDermott finds Harris. Harris up for Riker. Ooh, it went right under her foot, and it's cleared away by Harris-Stowe State. Riker had options there if she was able to collect that one. Good-looking ball from the near side. Harris-Stowe State will sub. Rachelle Gray comes back in. And we're stopping the clock. Not entirely sure what's going on here. Not entirely sure why he asked us to stop the clock. Oh, I think we have okay, so the trainer's going to go out and check on one of the Harris-Stowe defenders. Not entirely sure what happened, but referee saw something, and safety first, of course. 4 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in this second overtime. Might have been a head collision, might be something to do with something heat-related, perhaps. It has been a long day out on that hot turf field today. Currently in the 105th minute of play. And I can't see exactly who that defender is. I think that's Caitlin Johnson, who has done a heck of a job defending for Harris-Stowe today. So that certainly hurts on the back line if Johnson has to miss the rest of this contest. Looks like Rudloff will check back. Excuse me, checking back in is Isabella Tedesco as Johnson gets checked out. Ball back into play, popped up into the air, and eventually brought down by Gray before sending to the middle. There's Tedesco, the new sub, taken away by Wenberg. Wenberg chips it ahead, looking for Petrowski. And the ball played back to Chavez, who clears it right towards Casey Harris, who can't quite collect. Throw in, and it looks like they're going to say Harris touched it, so it'll be a throw in for Harris-Stowe coming up. 4 minutes remaining. Up into the air by Wenberg. Petrowski. Harris, nice job to bring it in, keep it in play. I think Riker thought that was intended for somebody else. May have been, but she was in the way of it. Let it go. McDermott picks off that pass attempt. A couple of players battling, sliding to the ground. Harris ends up with it. Harris loses it out of bounds. Throw in for the Hornets. 3:30 to go. Second overtime. It was Caitlin Johnson who came off. She's getting some water. Looks like she has been released by the training staff. We'll see if she comes back into the game. There's only 3 minutes left. Certainly, if it's a heat-related thing, that's not something you want to take lightly out here on a day like today. Ball up the line for Tedesco. Can't quite get there. Throw in St. Francis with 3 minutes to go, and Johnson does want to come back into the game here at the next opportunity. Johnson's been a force on that back line all day long. I'm not surprised that they want her quickly back into the game. Petrowski on the bounce, plays it. Has Riker, also has Harris. It passes back for McDermott. McDermott, nicely done to Wenberg, who controls it. Wenberg to Riker. Riker chasing after it, has Harris to her right, has Petrowski in the middle open. Riker looking for options. Passes instead towards Wenberg. Wenberg run into by a defender. Back for Martina Katurba. Katurba fakes the shot. Looks for options. Back to McDermott. McDermott chips one towards Petrowski. Also towards Alonso, who heads it right into the awaiting arms of Chavez. Another good chance for the Saints. Another save for Chavez. It's her 6th and the 9th shot on goal for St. Francis today. Under 2 minutes to play. And here comes Johnson checking back in. She will replace number 11, Fajardo. .90 seconds. Helms up the far side. She scored twice today. Estrada will collect the ball right by the flag post and will just hold there. Helms doesn't seem too eager to try to get it away. Now she does, and Helms steals the ball. Helms tries to send across to the middle. Bazan is there to clear it. There's nobody really in the middle for Harris-Stowe State. It looked like Gray wanted to go towards the action instead of setting up in the middle of the field. And so now with 1 minute to go, Saints and Hornets still tied at 3, and a handball on the far side will send it up for the Saints. Perhaps one last chance to get an offensive opportunity going here in the second overtime. Kiki Estrada chips the ball ahead. And it's sent right back by Harrington. Bouncing ball stays in play up the sideline. Gray battling for it, and a throw in Saints. 30 seconds. And it seems like USF at this point in their defensive half with 30 seconds to go. Maybe content, maybe not. Final 25. Got to go if you're USF. Passes up for Riker. Riker knocked off the ball briefly. Harris has it with 17 seconds. Katurba chips ahead, looking for Petrowski. Chavez is off her line. Chavez comes in. Petrowski takes a swipe at it. Chavez is out of goal. Riker with a chance. Final 6 seconds remaining. And a whistle and a foul, and that's going to do it for the contest as the clock rounds down to 0, and that is the ball game. So it'll be a tie today, a 3-3 result. Saints maybe one last-ditch effort there to get that one, but that'll do it for the Saints and the Hornets here today. So glad you could join us for this broadcast of Fighting Saints women's soccer on GoFightingSaints.com. Again, Kelly Petrowski with 2 second-half goals for St. Francis. Tori Helms with the 2 second-half goals for Harris-Stowe, and the other goals coming in the first half. First, Alejandra Alonso late in the first half, and then 2 minutes later, Rachelle Gray scored for Harris-Stowe. So glad you could join us. We will be back with St. Francis women's soccer on Labor Day next Monday. You get to hear, hopefully, the beautiful voice of Terry Bonadana on the call. Of course, I could fill in if necessary, but we do love Terry around here. Labor Day, September 3rd, 1 o'clock start, St. Francis at Asbury. We hope you can join us for that one. The next broadcast at all will be on Tuesday. St. Francis volleyball at home against Clark from Iowa. For all of us here saying so long, Luke Tanaka from ATI Field. Final score, St. Francis 3, Harris-Stowe State 3.